Hey, what's up, gamers? It's your boy, the guy who's been talking to himself for the last 15 minutes about what he wants to see sent to hell, aka the Dark Ocean, aka hell. Now keep in mind, these are my opinions, alright? It's getting close to Banlist season, and I know that Bandai watches me personally to see what I really want to get hit, but also to see what I really don't want to get hit. And I know that they'll usually do the opposite. So here we are, naively giving them a hit list. Please God, Bandai, please. First up, I think unsurprising to everybody here, this card needs to go. This card has been around, by the way, BT11. I'm pretty sure BT11 is when Black Orc Greymon X was one of the best decks in the format. We had Royal Knights, we had Shine, and look around. Do you see any of those decks still thriving? No. But guess who we see still thriving? Mirage. There is no deck in the format that can beat a Mirage if it just hits the nuts. If it just hits the nuts. There are other decks that if they just hit the nuts, there's nothing you can do about it. Taka Mikazuchi, you just get killed to hell if your deck doesn't have like a direct counter. You know, Shine Greymon technically can still just hit the nuts and send you to hell, and there's nothing you can do about it. But they haven't either been around as long in the case of Taka Mikazuchi, or they haven't been as oppressive as this singular fucking dog. The fact that he's a floodgate, I think, is the thing that makes me the most irritated. If he was just an OTK card, fine. I could work with that. I could adjust. But the fact that he's a floodgate on top of that, meaning if I don't have the answer in my hand and I have to go searching for it, he's gonna punish me for looking for an answer. He's gonna say, why are you looking in your deck, you stupid little idiot, you stupid little dumb idiot. And with how many cards in the game now read add a card to your hand as a mandatory effect. I lost a game because Matt came out of my security and I had to add back the singular purple card in my trash. And you know what? That happens, and that's okay. I'm not gonna ban a card just because I get unlucky against it once or twice. It's not about getting unlucky against this card. It's just so oppressive. And it's been around for so long, I think it's okay to send it away. Does it hurt Galaxy? Yes. Do I think Galaxy is really cool? Yes. Does it hurt Mirage? Yes. Do I think Mirage is pretty cool? As the only OTK dog deck left in the format right now, I think it's super interesting and super cool. But it just gets better and better and better with every set that's released. There are more fishes in that deck than there are dogs now, people. And I think we need to take a large step back and say, okay, well, what does the deck now ideally do? It gives you cards in hands. It sets up a level 6 that steals memory. It has lots of ways to cheat out memory through its level 4 that like lets you draw a card and then gain a memory of 8 or more typically. As well as it ideally makes it so that way you can't interact with it with a blocker. Their ideal board state is setting up a floodgate that you cannot interact with it in a traditional way with a blocker. You have to go out of your way to set up like some kind of weird trap with like an ace that they can, by the way, still get rid of by just going into the burst mode if it's level 6, or just going into this guy if it's a level 5 or lower. There are so many ways that this deck just says, sorry, no interaction, smile. And I think that with the banning of the level 5 Wergarurumon, as well as the, I think it was the level 6 green Grand Kuwagamon, I think they just want to do away with a lot of those OTK don't interact style decks, and that's completely fine. Please, Bandai, send this guy away. He doesn't belong here anymore. I hate dogs, by the way. I hate dogs. There are so many dogs I hate. That was just the first one. Here are the second ones. Okay, Dogs 2 and Dogs 3. And don't get me wrong, they're so cute. Balmon is adorable. Look at this art and tell me that you don't love it. Oh my god, it's so cute. This card is hell and should be sent there, if need be, by my hands personally. This card, from one memory, by all means, you need the cards in hand. You know, it requires specific resources. But if you have it, it can cheat out 10 memory. People, that's not okay for an egg to do. We ban eggs for giving you jamming. We limit them to 1. Do you think an egg that lets you cheat out memory is okay to that extent? No, it's not. I'm sorry, it's not. Balmon is a disgusting card. Balmon is a disgusting card. Not only does it let you cheat out memory, by the way, it also lets you cheat out discards. If you would discard a card, you could instead choose to discard the one that you would, say, want to Digivolve into, while still getting the value of the discarded effect. So it's like, oh, discard one, draw a card. Or, I don't know, discard 2 cards and get a guy from trash into hand. Well, funnily enough, you could discard the card you want to evolve into and discard the guy you want to play out, and then you get the guy that you just discarded onto the field, and then you get the Digivolve into the guy that you discarded for the second discard. You just cheat out the whole effect. You said this level 5 just lets you play out a level 4 or lower Digimon, and then also Digivolve into a level 6. It's not fair, guys. Guys, I don't know if you guys realize this. It's not fair, and I don't really know a great way to put that into perspective other than it cheats out 10 memory. It can cheat out 10 memory, and I think an egg that does that, even under ideal circumstances, probably isn't okay. And don't get me wrong, does it hurt the SOC Luga deck? Does it hurt Takami Kazuchi? Yes, it does. Absolutely. Good. Those decks have been really good. I think Luga has been one of the best decks in the format since like BT 14-15. Like, they've been on a tear for so long. I think it's okay for them to get hit a little bit. They also have an insane other egg. They have a really good secondary egg that just says whenever you place an SOC under this Digimon, an SOC tamer under this Digimon, gain the ability to Digivolve from trash. It's recursion. It just lets you recur cards from trash. It's a really good egg. It's not an insane combo potential like this Baumon is here, but the other one is still really good. The art's also worse in my opinion, but hey, listen, I'm sorry, cuteness can only take you so far. And then this Lugamon. Now, don't get me wrong, okay, the ideal circumstance, you're not cheating out 10 memory with this egg. You're maybe cheating out like 3 to 6 memory. This guy's real gross. This guy's an offender. He's a war criminal. He's a U.S. military asset. What this guy's capable of, I think, should be studied. Rookies, I think, have the potential to be some of the grossest things in the world. And I think one of the strongest rookies in the game is actually Patamon. I think Patamon, is just waiting for a moment to be abused again. It's ripe for the pickings of being abused. This Lukamon is being abused in real time. For those of you who don't know, start your main phase. You can place an AG from your hand or trash under this card as his bottom devolution source to gain a memory. So, that's 1 memory right there. It already cheated out a memory. That's pretty good. All right, there's a lot of rookies that cheat out 1 memory though, so that's not the biggest deal in the world. Not the biggest deal in the world by any means. However, not only can it get an AG from hand, it can also get from trash, which is recursion. So, imagining we don't have a way to cheat out AGs like this deck does with this card, you'd have to hard play an AG for 3 from hand, or you have to find some way to get it back from trash, like using the 9 Wolves option card. But because this card exists, you really don't have to think about that too hard. You just get a Lugamon out, you get a start main phase going, and you're set. What this does is it then cheats out usually 3, but sometimes 4 if you get the Cracker Fang underneath instead. 4 memory now, plus the 1 here, or 3 memory plus the 1 here. That's a minimum of 4, but sometimes 5 memory. This rookie now, don't get me wrong, requires a little bit of setup, just a tiny bit of setup. But once it's got that setup, it's now cheated out 4 to 5 memory. For a rookie, for doing nothing other than taking up your breeding area and then a promotion. That's all it took. That's all it took. Now, you say, wow, that seems pretty good. That seems really good. Is that enough to get a card banned? I think so, but it also has a really unique inheritable where sometimes, you're at 1 memory and you'll do a training or maybe an analog youth and you'll put your opponent to 1 and then you'll detach the SOC. Oh, look at this. This inheritable says gain another memory. Wow. So you're telling me that in the same turn, this card can cheat out 5 to 6 memory for your opponent? For no cost other than having an AG in trash or in hand, which your deck is going to want to have consistently. And then if your opponent outs the stack, you can get an analog youth effect to trigger, getting, the guy back if you're in level 5 or higher to get an egg and then placing another Luga on in trash. There's a lot of ways to recycle this guy from trash, by the way. You can continuously do that and cheat out more AGs every single turn. It's so gross. It's so gross. And I'm tired of pretending that this is fair and fine, okay? I'm sorry, Purple. I'm sorry that you guys get hit so much, and you're going to see a lot of other purple cards on this list. And I'm sorry. I truly am. As someone who enjoys purple as a concept and really likes it, you guys are just so overtuned in a lot of what you do. I think it's time to look within ourselves and realize, purple has been one of the best decks since BT14 for a while now. For a hot minute, actually. And it's okay. It's okay. We can take away some of your toys, and you guys will still be fine. They'll give you more in the future. Just right now, let's put our old toys down. I hate children. By the way, I'm a big proponent. I shove Analog Youth in so many of my decks. Dark Masters, my Purple Hybrid Control list. We've got the Biomon Bird with Ancient Greymon. There are so many ways for this child to hurt you. There are so many different decks that abuse this child in so many different ways. Some of them just really want that Alterns effect. Cheating out a memory and a hatch, by the way. We banned Louis for a promotion, which cheated out the other half of the hatching phase. Why do we not care about the first half? Only the second half of the hatching phase? This guy does what a Louis does, just in the inverse. He hatches an extra card. You can promote Digivolve in the back after, you pop level 5 of your own. You only get level 5 or higher Digimon resources, gets deleted. You gain a memory off of it, so already kind of huge there. This 2-cost tamer has searched you a card, set up your trash with 2 others, and then can gain you memory. This is just Cool Boy, but on crack for most decks. Cool Boy at least pretends to be fair by locking itself within only X antibodies. This card doesn't. He just says, yeah, put me into like anything, dog, and I will see some success, I promise you. As long as you're not like a tamer focused deck. Oh wait, there's actually so many ways to cheat tamers out from trash. Looking at the Lugamon, looking at Duskmon. There's so many ways for you to actually use this card. That is disgusting. If we're gonna hit Louis for gaining a memory on promotion and promoting a card a turn sooner for 3 memory, why are we not going to hit a Louis that does essentially what the other Louis does, mind you, just again the first half, not the second half, but costs 1 less and can do the Louis effect more than once? I'm sorry, have you guys never experienced watching your opponent digivolve into a Hell Luga, gain back a memory, hatch a card, add back the Lugamon that they just got the extra AG from, while also getting the memory from that Lugamon's inherit by shooting it out, and then digivolving in the back into that same Lugamon? Like, people, let's not, I'm not crazy here, am I? I'm not insane. This child needs to go. And I feel like that's not a too rough statement. Speaking of people that need to go, towers. All right, for those of you who've never played Yu-Gi-Oh! Here's Fleet 4 Towers is just the generic name for a card that is unaffected by your opponent's effects. This is a mistake. This is a mistake on legs. It's a mistake on legs, I'm sorry. You guys have had this for about 3.5 sets now, almost 4 sets. We can really start looking at it. And say, hey, maybe a card that is so strangulating on a metagame where should your opponent just sit on a unaffected Digimon, and it kind of, I think, relegates a lot of decks to not being able to answer it, and thus, I think, limiting the metagame. It's probably unfun and unfair, and it should probably go. This card, still, to this day, you just go Vmon the back, memory boost, promote the Vmon next turn, you're at 1 memory, pop the memory boost, Digivolve for 3 into a Magnamon of any variety, then Digivolve for 5, giving your opponent 5 into a Magna X. Most decks will immediately lose the game from there. I think most decks will immediately lose the game from there. Now, mind you, this isn't BT16 anymore. Okay? It's not a lot of decks that are just immediately losing the game anymore, but it's a good chunk of them still. It's a good chunk of them still. They have to kind of like finagle their way out. And I think that's pretty unfun and unfair. Mind you, I've never personally had a huge issue with Magna X. Okay? I've had rougher times with some of his other Magnamon variants, like the Structure Deck one that strips sources and then bounces. That guy's really hurt me. But I'm not calling for his ban because I don't think he's that impressive to a majority of decks. Most of the decks that I play do not care about Magnamon X anybody. But I understand that there are a lot of decks that could beat the decks that I play consistently that do care about Magnemon X Anybody. And I really want those decks to be able to thrive. And I don't think that's a crazy thing to say. I really don't. But maybe that's just me. I hate memory. Ooh, I hate memory. Like I told you, there would be a theme today, and I despise memory. The amount of times I will put my opponent to such a small amount of memory, and maybe they'll have a memory setter, maybe they'll have some way to gain memory on board that I'll know about. But then one of these three fuckers will come in, and they'll just cheat out a little bit extra memory. I'm like, okay, that's fine, whatever. I can handle 2 extra memory, 3 extra memory. Hell, even in Jackraid, I can handle 4 extra memory. Fine, 4 extra memory, okay. And then a second one comes down, dude. It's like they hit the second tower again. And it's devastating every time. I'm actually devastated every single time. Because I know the second Gravity Crush hits against Red Hybrid, and I know my ass is cooked. Because there's nothing I could have done to prepare for them having 4 extra memory. Even if it gets back to me, I have 4 extra memory, they're still going to have completely wiped out all of my security. Hell, yesterday, alright, I was at Eagle X playing in a locals. I was having a real good time. I go against Red Hybrid, and they had a memory setter Takuya and a way to gain another Takuya that gains a memory for the Digimon. I had a Mother Deer Reaper blocker, I had a Rikimon out on field, and I had a suspended Venusmon, but its effect wasn't up. So I knew that they could not go into their Ancient Greys or their Emperors if they had any. And they had to kill me. I had 1 security left because I started off the game really slow, and they started off very, very fast. Well, they Digivolve for 2, going 2, into a level 4. They swing in. I let them get the first check in. It dies. They don't play anything out. They Digivolve for 2 again, into a body. They swing. I block with the Mother D Reaper. They Gravity Crush for 2. They then Digivolve for 2 again. They swing in. I Blast Evo into Shadow Serafi. They Gravity Crush again. They swing in. They Digivolve for 2. I block with the Shadow Serafi. And now, I either told the story wrong, because they either had 6 memory, or they had a 3rd Gravity Crush. Can't remember which, but either way, the fact that they could either do a 3rd Gravity Crush, or Gravity Crush me twice at all, and still get through that amount of blockers, is disgusting. It's disgusting. It's gross. It's gross. I'm sorry. It's gross. I'm sorry. It's gross. Jackraid, I'm sorry, Purple, again. I don't like the idea of a card costing 0 that gains you 3 memory, even with setup, because that setup is what you want to do anyways. If it was something you had to go out of your way for, if it was like a downside of like, oh, I had to get 10 cards in my trash, this is hard to do, but like, I'll do it for the benefit of getting Jackraid online. Wrong, you're doing that anyways. You're doing that anyways, and do not lie to me that you're not, okay? This card is unfair. And you have so many ways to add it back that it is gross. It is gross and disgusting that you add it back so consistently. Then Blinding Ray, you enable some weird stuff. I think it's cool. I think the cool stuff you enable is awesome. Like the Godom one, that's cool. That's really interesting, actually. I think seeing security stacking to get bonus benefits off of trashing your security, like with the Karis and stuff, that's really interesting. You're not used for that. You're used to enable Magna X primarily, and that's like it. And that's like, okay, Snore, Sleeper, boring. 2 extra memory on top of that too. Ah, gross. These two also, like, just on the lesser end. I could maybe like imagine like a deck like Levia that was like purple-green that cheats out like a Digimon from your opponent, gets bonus effects off of it, and then also gives this effect, like being a problem in the future. Obviously, these are just hypothetical problems, and they don't need to get hit necessarily, but I think they could get hit going on in the future. And this is just speaking as someone who played a lot of Gabu Hybrid. If you're gonna hit Hammer Spark, I think it's just disrespectful not to hit these 3. I think it's disrespectful and childish, honestly, that you would not hit one of these 3. Who even likes O2? Alright. What do you think my problem is with this card? I'm waiting. Pause. Holding my breath and holding space currently. That's right. It's memory. I'm thinking to yourself, huh, well this card, I mean, if we just read the text and we kind of look at it, little blankly. I mean, it just says gain 1 memory here, but that's about it. Wrong, 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 my simple, naive friend. Let me paint you a little picture. Digivolve the back to a rookie. Play this guy out for 4. He does nothing on play, nothing. He's just a dingus. Your opponent does some stuff, sets you to 1. You promote the rookie. Effect. Cheat out a rookie from hand. It can be a searcher, it can be a card that gains you memory. What the rookie does doesn't matter. It could even recur you from trash. Does not matter what it does specifically. Wanna know why? Because it cheats out 3 memory from the rookie. Immediately. Start your turn, just does that. Okay, that's pretty good. But it says return the Digimon to your hand. So it's like, even if you Digivolve on top of it, it doesn't really do much of anything, so that's like fine. Well, you Digivolve for 2. You pass your opponent to 1. You spend this card. Gaining a memory. Going back to 0. Keeping turn. Then you Digivolve on top of the other guy for 2. Putting your opponent to 2. End of turn, you DNA into Pyldramon. Now, if you have the ideal hand, you have both of the level 4s that gain you memory. You'll go back to 0. You have a Pyldramon that will swing in twice. And this guy won't bounce himself to hand anymore because of the fact that it's a new Digimon. Now I know what you're thinking. Wow, that sounds really gross. From here, you can go into a level 6 that has some kinds of protection. More niche protection, mind you, with the, whatchamacallit, after doing your 2 checks and getting a healthy chunk of draws as well, probably with GMing. But you can also end on a Hexablow targeting Tamers if your opponent played them out, or just a whole myriad of possibility is left in your court. Now let's assume that didn't happen, and let's say you leave in the back, you just cheat out the rookie from hand, and you Digivolve into a champion in the back for 2, putting your opponent to 1. They can't out the rookie, well, it goes back to hand, and now, let's say it's a searcher, you've now searched twice with this rookie for free. Even the bouncing effect has some upside to it, because you're never experiencing the downside. If you never have to experience the downside of staying on a Digimon and being like, man, I really want this guy to stay on field, it's not a downside anymore. It's a utility effect that you can make use of, which is gross. The fact this guy cheats out 4 memory every single turn as a possibility, and with the only requirement being that you have a rookie in hand, that seems a little unfair. Most memory setters will cheat you 1 to 2 memory. This guy cheats you 4, and then if you're DNA Digivolving, he strips sources. Which is like, okay, I mean, fair enough, I guess. So he needs to go. I like O2, by the way, just to clarify. I like Davis a lot, and I like Ken. Just no O2 slander. Just figure this is a nappy title. Anyways, these are just potential cards that I think could definitely see some hits. And again, purple, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I think the meta is relatively healthy right now. And the meta is kind of okay. However, I think there are a couple cards that could definitely see some hits. I'm not sold on any of these, but like there are arguments for them. Koichi, I think, is a great way to hit purple hybrid without actually having to like step your toe into purple hybrid too hard. Those new cards haven't been around for too long, and this one is the one that lets you cycle pretty consistently and lets them cheat out memory. I feel like it's a fine hit if you want to do anything to purple hybrid. Same thing goes for Matt Ishida. I mean, this guy's been around for a long time. Just getting that recursion on a body that you can make use of, as well as it being a memory setter, I think is a good one to kind of just get out of there. The Gunimon, I think, makes just future-proofing the game a lot easier. Like, cheating out the Ancient Greys can be like a pretty big issue sometimes, and they're also really good at just cheating out a lot of memory. In this one also, like, you can just stick under the new level 5 cost Takuya whenever you would go into the Evo with the Ancient Grey into the Ugunimon attacking combo. You'd actually only Digivolve for 1 because of the inheritable here, making it so you can actually kind of keep turn and play around with it a little bit, which is also super interesting. I think it has a really unique way of playing into combos, but I think it's still kind of impressive. As someone who has made use of this promo as well as the Lobomon promo a lot, I think these cards are really strong, and I could imagine them kind of taking a backseat a lot more. Mermamon, I think, is always just a card ripe for abuse. We've seen it make use in Purple Hybrid, but also, like, I think it's just a card that no one would really bat an eye if Bandai banned tomorrow. We'd all be like, oh, that makes sense. This card could probably go away. I think same thing goes for this Ukomon. I know we were arguing like which Uko should be hit, and if they should even hit Ukos, or if both Ukos should be gone, etc, etc. And now that there's only one, I see a lot less Uko hate going around, but I think this card's still really good. I think it's a really strong card, and seeing this card limited to 1 as well, now that it's had a bit more time in the sun, I think would make sense, and I wouldn't really complain about it at all. I understand if this card gets hit, and I wouldn't complain. I also understand this card doesn't get hit, and I still wouldn't complain. I think it's just kind of like a generic rookie that's played in a lot of decks, that you could probably see go away. And then finally, you know, one of these two guys, I don't think both of them need to get hit, but like one of them, yeah, I think one of them get hit for sure. It stops a lot of the cycling, it stops a lot of the memory gain, it stops a lot of like the aggressiveness, as well as because of the X antibody way that they play, your opponent has less areas to kind of make use of that X antibody protoform, which I think feels pretty good because it forces them to play the deck a little bit differently. But maybe I'm out of my mind. Maybe I'm insane for some of these takes. Let me know in the comments. These are the guys I want to be free. Set them free. Now, you're looking at Makaga, all right? You're looking at Makaga, and you're going, are you crazy? Are you insane? That card's really mean, really strong. One, I don't even know if Current Mirage fits this guy in at 4. Because the level 5 slot in that deck is tight. There's a lot of really good level 5s in that deck. And while you can unsuspend and attack an extra time, I'm not sure if you care more about that or being able to not be blocked. As well as, I'm going to be honest, this is made under the assumption that Mirage is limited minimum, if not banned. Obviously, Bandai hates banning cards, but, you know, maybe they can live up to their namesake. Get it? Ban. Die. But assuming they hit Mirage, I think this card could definitely come off, and I wouldn't complain in the slightest. Greymon X Antibody could have come off last list, or even the list before that, honestly. It's strange that we haven't gotten this guy back yet. Poor Greymon. I know they were, like, really good in BT11, but we really didn't get them for that long over here in the West. And they really didn't stay around that long. They weren't the best deck for an insane amount of time. It was like BT13, I think maybe it was Blackboard Ray. I don't remember. One of the two. It was BT11, BT13. I can't remember. But I think these guys are fine to come back. Oh no, they cheat out maybe 2 memory. Oh no. What a scary level 4 that is. I mean, guys, come on. Oh, guys, come on. Let's not be crazy. And it has a protection effect built into it, but I mean, it's not Magna X. You know, Magna X you can't do anything to. At least this guy you can interact with after you pop it the first time. Or you can even just like Levium on it, and it's the only body on field, it's gone already. Sunrise Buster. Who we scared of, guys? Who are we scared of? Who's leaving a body on field in the year of our Lord 2024, almost 2025? Who's leaving a body on field that just gets deleted with a 12k DP minus and didn't expect it to already die? Like, what does this enable? What deck is gonna play this card at 4? Please tell me. You think Yellow Hybrid? I don't think so. You think Crossheart? I mean, the ratios in that deck are already kind of tight. I don't think you could fit in 4. Maybe 2 or 3, but 4? It's a little scary. And what does it do? I mean, it cheat out like a 5-cost Matt Damon? I don't remember his name. The punching guy from Shine, and that's cool. That's really cool. It's pure plus, but it also requires you have an extra card. I don't know. I really think this card is kind of overplayed, and could definitely come back. Same thing comes with the Doru Greymon. Now, mind you, we haven't gotten the new Crossheart stuff yet, so maybe this is a little bit more scary. And also, mind you, we're on I think it's over the X right now, BT20, and there could definitely be some cards that really just say, if you put the BT7 Doru Greymon under us, we win the game immediately. Like, that could be an exact line of text. And you know what? If it was, I would say, let's not unban the Doru Grey. But assuming it's not, assuming there's not anything crazy, I don't even know if you're going to be playing this guy in any of your new Alphamon or Yukin stuff going forward. Even if you are, a guy that gets you an extra source, which is good, and a guy that makes it so you can't be DP reduced or deleted until the end of your opponent's next turn, which is good. And then gives security attack +1 as an inheritable, which is good. I don't think it's enough these days to be like, this card has to go away. Is it enough to be playable? Maybe. But it's definitely not enough to warrant on the ban list anymore. We have cards with fucking shivs on them, alright? We got cards that read, you know, kill your opponent. A BT7 door break could come off. Now, mind you, I could be insane. I could be insane for thinking any of this. And you might be right. But please, leave a comment. Tell me, Mirage... No, I'm sorry, that's actually... If you leave a comment telling me Mirage Galgamon can stay unbanned, you're wrong. If you tell me that Lugamon or Balmon should stay unbanned or limited, you're wrong. If you tell me Analog Youth should stay unbanned or limited, you're wrong. Magna X, okay, fine. I understand. Having a gatekeeper to a format, completely fine. I just don't like it that much. These cards, you're wrong. This guy, I think the only argument keeping this guy unhit is just Imperial's so bad without him that you can't hit him. And it's like, okay, give Imperial better cards then, Forehead. These guys, sure, you can have arguments for keeping them around. These guys, I think maybe the only one that you can make an argument for is so good that it can't come off the list is Sunrise, but even then I'm kind of skeptical. But maybe, again, maybe I'm wrong, okay? Maybe you guys think I'm wrong. Please, let me know in the comments. Thank you guys for watching the video. I appreciate you all very, very much. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.